I'm laughing. Hey, D, I'm laughing because I feel like we did this already. Doesn't it? It feels like
Roll it back. Here we go again.
Roll it back. It feels like familiar territory. And for those that don't know, just a few minutes ago, I filled in for Eric Erickson on his program. So noon to 3. So that's what I've been doing. And here we are again. And so we're just re-rack it. Let's go. There's a lot to talk about.
3 more hours.
3 more hours. The crowd's going crazy. They demanded, D, 3 more hours. Well, let's go. I got to get some coffee, I think. I think that's what I need. No, that's what I need. All right. So among some of the things that we will talk about today include some more of the fraud in the Somali-run care centers in Minnesota. You know, the child care centers. By the way, the child care centers that Governor Tim Walz, during the 2024 presidential debate with J.D. Vance, was bragging about how they were funding it. So did you know something about this? I mean, we're going to get to that coming up in just a bit. Also, no tax on tips. But not for everybody. Hey, are you in a Democrat? We need we have to do this like a commercial, like one of those infomercial type things. Are you in a blue-run, Democrat-led state or city? Do you think you're going to get no tax on your tips because President Trump put it in the one big beautiful bill? Boy, do you got another thing coming. It's a blue city and a blue state, and they all have TDS, that kind of thing. So we're going to get to that because you're not all getting it. And it has people not only upset, but confused. Like, let me get this straight. Because of your TDS on steroids, you have chosen to hurt the people you represent. That's the only way to look at it. So that's coming up in just a bit. And I believe scheduled to join us, our good friend, military analyst Mike Lyons, so we can examine a little bit of what's going on with this Ukraine.
Scheduled to join us.
All right, scheduled to join us with Ukraine and Russia and the possibility of a peace deal. And just want to know the latest, like what's going on. And he knows all about that stuff. All right, transition me. For those that don't know, in case you just woke up, well, I know you didn't. And I know you do know about this. It's getting a little weird, odd, strange, crazy for Governor Walz and Minnesota, as he has been slammed by many people, because authorities in Minnesota now are accused of overseeing what has been, quote, the largest fraud in U.S. history. And that's saying something, friends. And I mean, the largest fraud in U.S. history. And that's considering that there are some people that
every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
Committed some serious, ginormous frauds against the American people. But that wasn't financial. That was just political. So Democrats are better than you. So forget about it. They'll just walk. Better not be this way this go around. So in Minnesota, the accusations are the largest fraud in U.S. history, allowing it to go unchecked, even though people were reporting that it was happening right to their face. For example, we had Nick Shirley, who was a YouTuber, a journalist, who was putting out videos about his concerns about some of the things that he noticed at some of these daycare, childcare centers that seemed a little disturbing.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center.
There it is, everybody. It says Quality Leering Center. And some people are like, well, hold on a second. It's in a Democrat, communist, Marxist, socialist run city. So it's probably understandable that maybe there could be some issues in spelling, because everybody knows that leftists, if you ask them to spell Constitution, they spell it COMMUNISM, right? Right?
On the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at
All right, so this is the blatant fraud that's happening at this particular location.
this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Yeah, so there's somebody who's yelling, ICE is at the door, don't open up. You're look, and this is the weird thing about lefties lately. Okay, so follow this, D. you're the ombudsman. Follow where I'm going with this and tell me if this makes sense. So you have a daycare center that there is a fear, a concern that there's fraud going on because it's a daycare center and there's no kids in there. Where are the kids? But it's open. And there happens to be a person that's outside that's yelling at them on the inside not to open the door because it's ICE. But it's not ICE. It's somebody investigating the fraud going on with the daycare center. But the person's yelling ICE because they're trained at this point. They see somebody who's trying to get in a building they shouldn't get into, and they're all trained up to assume that it's ICE now because that's what's happened in this country, and that's where she went. Does that make sense? It's, like reflective, or reflective, like she's.
It makes sense, and it's sad.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it's
They're
sad.
just programmed to scream these things.
That's the word I'm looking for. She's programmed. That's it.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up.
That's not an answer to the question, but that's what we were trying to get out of her. And so that's just part of the Minnesota daycare spelling learning wrong and receiving $4 million for 99 kids that are not in the building. Where are they? Can we find out where the kids are? You can't ask. Here is a person who was with the reporter there, the journalist, Nick Shirley, who has been visiting himself for many, many years, some of these daycare centers, and was being questioned outside of the Capitol there in, I guess, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Massive fraud is going on here in the state of Minnesota, especially in Minneapolis. Explain to me what's going on with the daycares.
All right, so here's the explanation about what's going on with the daycares.
So one of the things that I've noticed is there's an exceptional number of childcare centers that are set up mostly in Minneapolis, but also in St. Paul. And I said, wow, how many kids are there in the Twin Cities?
You got a lot of centers that are open up, and man, we got a lot of kids. Do we?
Some of them are by my office, and I would watch, and I said, well, there aren't any kids there.
Huh, a daycare center with no kids. Something smells fishy.
And I go to another one, there aren't any kids there, and I'd see just some Somali guys outside smoking cigarettes. So I stopped at one of them, and I said, hey, I'm just wondering, I've got a grandson who's looking for childcare, and I wonder if this might be a good facility. And they said, no, we're all full. And they had the door open, and I looked, and there were no kids. There was like a couch and a table with a couple chairs. And I said, well, are the kids out back playing, or what kind of place is this? And the guy said, you go, and he almost pushed me out the door. And
because that's the kind of thing you do when you have a successful business. Then you're trying to conduct business with lots of kids around. Can't you see the kids all over the place? Everything is fantastic here, and we're full, and you need to leave. That's what you do when it's that kind of business. The problem is it's not that kind of business.
And he followed me down the street to my car, and that's when I said, wait a minute, there's something going on here.
There's something going on here, and he's been watching this for like 5 years, watching all of this. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, we got to get to the bottom of it because it's only happening in one place. It's only happening in Minnesota. So if we can find out exactly what's going on there in Minnesota, then we can just lock it all up and forget about it and tuck it away, and that's it. Everything will be fine. But no. There's more to that part of that story. Because according to many people reporting now on social media, following the exposure of millions in fraud at Somali-run care centers in Minnesota, similar concerns are now surfacing in Washington State. I know, it sounds crazy. Washington State. Wait a second. They're a bastion of conservatism. And no, they're not. Where 530, and here, I got the video of it. Here it is. 539 of 5,000 licensed daycare centers don't have an address. There's a person that's on social media that's scrolling through all the daycare centers. There's a name of a person that's next to the daycare center, quote unquote, but there's no address and lots of money that's going out to these daycare centers. Now, you might be saying, that sounds like fraud, like there's something going on here and we should investigate. Yes, you would be right about that. And so we're looking into more about what is being done. The feds are now going in, and they're starting to examine some of what is going on with regard to this, taking the time to show up now. Department of Homeland Security is also doing. I'm sorry, I'm doing two things at once here. Is also showing up there as well. So a lot of very interesting things are going on. But before we hit break in just a little while, what if I were to tell you that there are certain people who are trying to have you believe something else? Like there's nothing to see here, move along because it's just political partisanship. No, they wouldn't do anything like that, would they? Oh, yes, they would. So we'll get to that coming up in just a second here at Florida's Voice. All right. 866-588-8303 is the phone number anytime you want to call. A couple of other things that are going on. All right, let's see. We've got the talk over the weekend of what was the beginning or what could be the beginning of hopefully some peace with Ukraine and Russia, as you had President Zelensky there at Mar-a-Lago, and the president saying that maybe we could be close to a deal ending the war between Russia and Ukraine. Well, I think there's more to the story, because I did see in Real Clear Defense a piece that was written about maybe what we might actually see. And it was written by our good friend, military analyst Mike Lyons, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. It's been way too long since he's been on the program. I don't like that aspect of it. We got to talk about that off the air, because I want to know what he's been doing, that he's been so busy that he can't visit with us. But anyway, he's busy. That's the whole thing. All right, Mike, good to see you. How's everything?
Hey, Drew, great to be back with you, of course.
So this was a very interesting article. And I guess, first of all, let me start with this. Where are we now position-wise in Ukraine, and what Russia has, what Ukraine has, all of this right now as far as territory and where we stand?
So Russia still controls about 20% of Ukraine's former landmass, the entire Crimea Peninsula, as well as two areas in the Donbass in the eastern southern part of Ukraine. They are looking for more. If they decide to do some kind of peace treaty, they want to expand that out. But they have not moved really, only yards in the past year, as both sides grind along. It's become drone warfare to a new level with tethered drones and infrared type messengers in order to try to kind of figure out what the other side is doing. EMP has been taking out the electronic warfare, has not been a part of it. So it's modern as it can be with the drone warfare that's going on there. But it's also trench warfare. It's still World War I, where hundreds of thousands of artillery rounds go back and forth. The Russians have not been able to break through. So that in their mind, they want to do that. They want to mass in certain locations and then march on to Kyiv, and that's still their objective, very maximalist as to what their overall goals are. And so Ukraine is holding out, doing what it can, attacking deep strategically, attacking electronic sites, going after infrastructure of Russia. And so while that they can do that with the capacity that they have with what's given from Europe, but the United States has really not given Ukraine the leverage to get Russia to stop. And I don't see Russia stopping anytime soon, because the battlefield math hasn't changed and they're still somewhat controlling it.
Right. And so I see this article, a Korean-style freeze in Eastern Europe, and I have to tell you, I can't disagree with it, because I think you're spot on with this. And I think it's important that people understand that there's a difference between what would be a ceasefire and genuine, long-lasting peace. Talk a little bit about what you wrote here and what your concerns are.
Well, my concerns is that both sides are exhausted. They won't necessarily be able to move forward. And so we'll get this armistice, we'll get a ceasefire that will stop the fighting on both sides, but then the race will be on in order to secure that, to whether Russia will agree to have foreign troops put inside Ukraine, because they become tripwires if all of a sudden the Russians decide to violate the ceasefire like we've seen in the Middle East and these other places. There'll also be this push to create this border similar to what we have on the 38th parallel in North and South Korea. That's stood for now almost 80 years, given what's that situation. But that's not really in the best interest of Europe in a lot of ways. It's back to the future. But it's really the only answer that we have right now, given that the Russians can't decide, can't mass enough forces and can't move this thing along on the battlefield. I think that, Russia might agree to it initially. And I hear the president saying we're at 90% solution. But that last 10%, I just don't see Russia agreeing to. And that's their part of it. We can meet with Zelensky all we want. But the Russians are the ones that could stop this war tomorrow if they chose to.
So what is that 10%? Is it Donbass? Is it Crimea? I mean, it's got to be something like that. It has to be something where there are, for Russia at least, there are non-negotiables. Those seem to be the two.
I think the first one is security forces inside of Ukraine, foreign troops inside Ukraine. Russia does not want to have any foreign troops on its border, which is really what it would be. We've talked about this before. I never was for the expansion of NATO the way it's been. You can't have every country in NATO except Russia. That's how the First World War started, with all the alliances and things that went in that regard. So I believe that Russia, that will be a non-starter for them. But that's not to say the United States right now and its European allies couldn't put up an air defense umbrella over Ukraine to keep the Russians from stop bombing Kyiv and their cities. And they can create a no-fly zone, which is somewhat of an act of war, because that potentially means firing back inside of Russia from Ukraine. And they could continue to pour weapons into Ukraine, like Tomahawk cruise missiles, and provide the Ukrainians leverage in order to get the Russians to stop. But I think that's the main thing, is troops inside. And I agree that no NATO is probably something to that we should kind of go along with. But that last piece will be whether or not Ukraine joins the European Union. It's something Ukraine wants. It's another thing that Russia does not want to see.
Wow, this is going to be. So if there is this armistice style agreement, let's just say, does this happen in weeks? Is this months away? I could see this being dragged out to the point where they're just waiting for another, I don't know, a friendlier, quote unquote, administration to come in to help to do what it is that, for example, Ukraine wants, to arm up and even talk NATO and the like.
I think the Trump administration is really looking for some kind of agreement. They want to hang that on the wall right away, and the fact that we've got peace inside of Ukraine. And I think that there's concern. I think Donald Trump looks at Russia still as a superpower, and that's because of their nuclear weapons. He looks through the world through a 1980s lens. I don't necessarily think this is bad. I think this is one way to look at it. He doesn't look at it as the world as united as the world thinks it might be, because it really isn't. The world takes advantage of the United States, and that's why he feels America first. But I do believe he thinks Russia is a superpower because it has 1,500 nuclear weapons that could be pointed towards the United States and launched and create the unthinkable between our two countries. He puts China in the same boat. China has obviously a stronger economy than Russia does, but I think that's the view here. So I do believe that he wants Ukraine to somewhat give in on this, and I think that until they get a deal where they feel that they can support and defend by it, I just don't think it's going to happen. So I think the Russians are going to extend this out for as long as possible until more leverage is actually put inside Ukraine by the United States or the European Union.
Yeah. By the way, this realcleardefense.com article is a really important read. I would encourage all my listeners to go check this out and read this for yourself. Really good stuff. And before we go, listen, everybody who's listening to the sound of my voice is just going to have to sit back for a minute. You're just going to have to take it down a notch, because I cannot have a fellow Islander fan on with me right now and not talk about our favorite hockey team, the New York Islanders. Yes, I know I'm in the state of Florida and the Panthers, but we have a legitimate shot at something here, it feels like. All right.
Yeah.
Help me with this, Mike. So how do you feel about the Islanders right now? Do I step off the bandwagon, or can I stay on it, or what?
No, let's stay right on it. Generational player in this kid Schaefer. He's really the real deal. I've watched him from the penalty box for the entire season so far. He's good. You know, the new GM that Darce is now running the team, and there's a whole different vibe to it. I think they want to play the run and gun kind of game. They want to kind of play a fast-paced game, so they're going to start to do that. But they got a generational player in this Matthew Schaefer, and it's really been fun to watch. So stick with the Islanders, stay on the bandwagon, and it should be a good season.
So, and if somebody wants a little Florida connection, Darcy's he's a Tampa guy, right? He came from
That's
the
right.
Lightning. Right. Okay.
That's right. Talks all the time about the cups he won in Tampa. And look, I have a Florida Stanley Cup connection. Vinny Viola, West Point grad, owns the Panthers, 2-time Stanley Cups. Those guys are the champions. They still have to be defeated. The Rangers will be down there playing there this Friday in the Winter Classic. But the Islanders, I hopefully will get them up to West Point. We'll play in an outdoor stadium series game up there. We'll see how that goes. But the Islanders are fun to watch this year. You'll get a chance to watch them.
Yeah, I don't like what happened last night. I don't like what happened yesterday. I don't like that whole.
Right.
Only because it wasn't Maddie's fault. It was like this was,
right.
And it wasn't even like a slash. It was like a tap on the ice. It wasn't even real.
Yeah.
And for those that
got him
watch,
on his skates. It's not like he took him out at the knees.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, if that was Mick Sorley or one of those other guys from the '80s, that would have been a lot worse. So. Yeah. But the Islanders they'll get an enforcer. They'll get somebody. Matty Martin, obviously, he's retired now, and but the NHL is a great watch. Everybody, I'm sure your fans or your listeners are watching. The NHL has really got a lot of talent right now.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Well, the beauty of real quickly before we go. The crazy beauty of living in the state of Florida is you never imagined when you first moved here, me personally 40 years ago, that there would be not one but two incredible hockey clubs here in the state. I mean, we're talking championship clubs, so you can see the best hockey with the Lightning and the Panthers has been phenomenal. Of course, when you're an Islander fan, maybe not that much, but it's been great because you get to see the team, but you get to see some really good action. So that's been.
You could be a Maple Leaf fan and not see the Cups in '67. I mean, those guys, the Canadians are a lot more concerned. There's, that's a lot worse. So it's there's a lot of good hockey there. So.
All right, I hear the music. All right, Mike Lyons joining us on Florida's Voice. Always great to have a few minutes with you, my friend. All the best. God bless.
Thanks,
we'll see you
anytime.
soon. Okay.
Take care.
Yes, military analyst. By the way, at MAJ Mike Lyons on X is a great follow. Go check out that article too.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want to plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, and anytime you want to check out the program after hours, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, or DrewSteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's. If you go there, it streams 24/7. It's live 3 to 6 when we're live. And then from 6 until 3 o'clock the next day, it's looping through so you don't miss any of the program. All right, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines now.
Who do we have? Is it Michelle? Michelle Vesarina in the Florida's Voice newsroom? She's got the latest for us. I guess we're going to see whether or not it's her. I can't see her.
Hey, Drew.
Oh, hey.
Here's what's topping the news right now. Florida is officially launching a new public weapon against animal cruelty on January 1st. It's the statewide animal abuse registry established under Dexter's Law, which was signed by Governor DeSantis earlier this year. The publicly searchable online database will list anyone convicted of harming animals in Florida, ensuring they can't just go out and adopt another pet. The law is named in honor of Dexter, a shelter dog who was tragically beheaded just days after being adopted. Representative Linda Cheney says this registry will finally hold these individuals accountable and help ensure more cruelty cases end in prison time. President Trump says we are getting a lot closer to ending the war in Ukraine following a Mar-a-Lago meeting with Vladimir Zelensky. The president described the Sunday meeting as terrific and revealed he recently spent 2.5 hours on the phone with Vladimir Putin. Trump says his bold diplomacy is bridging gaps that persisted for years. He says he is willing to travel to Ukraine personally if it means saving 25,000 lives a month. Zelensky expressed his gratitude for the negotiations as the administration moves toward a vision of peace through strength. Trump's diplomatic blitz continued today with a scheduled meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Congressman Byron Donalds is sounding the alarm on what he calls a massive Somali fraud ring exploiting American taxpayers. Donalds highlighted a viral investigation claiming to expose over $110 million in fraudulent spending within Minnesota's childcare programs. The footage shows multiple daycare centers receiving millions in subsidies despite appearing completely empty. Donalds, who is also running for Florida governor, says the House Oversight Committee is actively investigating these foreign criminals to stop the exploitation of taxpayer dollars. Head over to our webpage to see that video for yourself. And coming up in our next hour, a massive announcement on the war on drug trafficking. President Trump appears to confirm the United States has carried out its first land strike against Venezuelan narco traffickers. We'll have the details at 4:35. I'm Michelle Vesarina, senior reporter for Florida's Voice. Drew, back to you.
All right, Michelle in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories that they are working on, it's simple. You go to flvoicenews.com. That is Florida's Voice, the website, and everything is for you to peruse right there. I think that's one way to put it. All right, what else we got going on? 866-588-8303. Just wanted to check some of what was taking place a little while ago. Do we have some of that video? Because I had it, and I wanted to play some of what the president said just a little while ago. There it is. Okay, we've got it. It was on our own Eric Doherty's X account, Eric L. Daugh, D-A-U-G-H, on X, if you are following us here at Florida's Voice. And he had this up just a little while ago. Some of what was being discussed with the president and Benjamin Netanyahu. I know that came up just a little while ago. And he was talking about, first of all, once again, as they're getting ready to eat, there at the dining table, and it looks like the president had a couple of very good things to say with regard to what was going on there.
It's a very good group. We've made a lot of progress already. We had about a 5-minute meeting, and we've already settled about 3 of the difficulties. So thank you very much for being here.
All right. So we've already settled 3 of the difficulties. That sounds pretty good. So very important. Work is getting done right away. And that, like we said, is a good thing. Speaking of getting work done, you know, there's so much here in the state that's going on that I would love to talk about, whether it is, I don't know, education, whether it is farmland, whether it's just keeping an eye on what the property tax issue, for example, is going to be moving forward here in the state. Our good friend Matt Caldwell is joining us right now on Florida's Voice. He's a Lee County property appraiser and also just happens to be someone who used to be, how many years has it been now, Matt, where you were part of the state and working up there in Tallahassee? How long has it been?
It's been 7 years.
Wow.
Almost long enough they don't remember me anymore.
Oh, that's not very kind. Look at you. But, you know, you still talk about a lot of the issues. Funny enough, a lot of the issues that you were discussing back then that were being talked about but just weren't getting traction. Is that fair to say, like with the property tax issue? Is it fair to say that when you were there, there was bits and pieces of the discussion, but it never really got off the ground or got any traction?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely was something we were working on during my final term, in fact, we put forward an amendment to increase the homestead to 100,000. It didn't get the 60%, so it failed in that 2018 ballot. But we had set during our time the expectation of reducing, regardless of what happened with any amendments, reducing the property tax for schools, the property tax that gets bundled up and sent to Tallahassee. And we had actually started to lower that for a couple of years. And that's really, every time I get talked about this, I sound like a broken record, but that's really where you could make some difference.
Yeah. Has there been for you in the discussions with people and some of the things that have come out of Tallahassee, have there been things where you're like, now that works for me? That works right there. I like the way this sounds. Are there things that worry you and you look and say, these could have long-term consequences, the dynamics that are going on?
Sure. Well, I mean, in terms of the actual proposals from the House, the one that would convert the homestead to a percentage basis, that would make an enormous difference. One of the problems with the current homestead is inflation diminishes the value of that exemption year over year. So switch to a percentage system and you're better off. You've eliminated at least that problem. And, the one that seems primed for the floor, it would expand the homestead benefit for those folks that carry property insurance. And as property appraisers, we'll administer whatever we're told to. But at the end of the day, that's the kind of system that's going to require every single person to come into our office or at least interact with our office every year to verify that they're keeping up with their property insurance. So, for example, right now in Lee County, we probably process around 25,000 homestead applications a year. That's just people coming and going. But if we had to re-verify everyone's property insurance, there's about 230,000 accounts we would have to deal with every single year. So a lot more manual labor and paperwork on taxpayers' part and ours.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'm just glad that you've been keeping an eye on this and checking all of it out, especially as someone who has talked about this in the past in Tallahassee and trying to do, obviously what's best for the people that are around you in Lee County and obviously for the state, and how getting this right is really, really important. And by the way, there's a lot of demagoguing going on with regard to, fire and EMS, first responders and not getting paid possibly and all of this. And it's like, hold on a second. Does that frustrate you before we move on? Does that frustrate you as much as it frustrates me when people say things like that? As if what? As if you're not doing that now? Like you're not prioritizing that now? Like what are you doing?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, what you need to start with is discussing and determining what is a fair and equitable tax system, something that places the least burden possible on the greatest number of folks so that everybody pays as little as possible individually. Then you figure out, okay, what are your priorities with the revenue that raises? And that's the problem a lot of times with government. The appetite is endless. So don't start by defining the appetite for all the things you need to do. We obviously have to fund police and fire and EMS response. And we obviously want to have safe schools, and we want to have roads that we can drive on. But the fact is that you can consume every single tax dollar, and as you see at the federal level, borrow beyond anything anybody could imagine to pay for every wish list item you can come up with. So you start with what's a fair way to tax, and then you move over to, okay, here's how much money we have to spend on the things we want to prioritize.
Right, exactly. All right, before we go, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, we have to have a little bit of fun, okay? So it's not always serious with Matt Caldwell. It's not. Sometimes it's fun. So I'm perusing the interwebs. Thank you, Al Gore. And I'm looking at social media. And I'm looking at people getting into a tiff with you regarding Harvard's rankings of the U.S. presidents in Time Magazine, 1948. And I'm like, oh, this is so Matt Caldwell's wheelhouse. Are you really sure you want to mess with the man who knows who the governor of the state of Florida was off the top of his head in 1960? Are you sure you want to go there? Who was that, by the way?
Fuller Warren, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So So they put this out. No, this is really funny. You all listening, you'll have fun with this. We got a couple of minutes. So Harvard puts out this list, and they're talking about the greatest presidents, and they've got FDR and Woodrow Wilson at the top as great, with like Jefferson and Jackson and Washington and Lincoln. To which Ron DeSantis was even like, what? Like, to have Coolidge rated poorly and Woodrow Wilson rated as great is proof that Harvard's ideological biases are longstanding. To which then you started to get some heat for some of what you were putting up there as well from people. Like when you saw that as the historian that you are, what did you think about all of that?
Well, there's no secret that Calvin Coolidge is my favorite president. In fact, if you come in the office at the lead property appraiser, you will see a picture of him and a quote from his inauguration day address where he talks about fair tax system. Basically, the summary is any dime more that you take from the people than you actually need is theft. Ooh. And that was the attitude he brought to the White House. He was really, I think, an amazing president. One of my top five for sure.
But the fact that people were like, what are you basing this on? What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just historical ignorance, and particularly the Wilson defenders. I mean, Woodrow Wilson, first of all, wouldn't have won if TR hadn't run and spoiled it with a third party race. So it's a ding on his record. But Wilson brings us the income tax. He brings us the 17th Amendment, where the states lose any influence over the U.S. Senate. He brings us prohibition, which created the mafia and organized crime in America. He took us into World War I when he promised not to. He forced the Tsar in Russia to not bring his troops off the Eastern Front. He needed them to fight the communists, specifically because Wilson bullied the Tsar into staying engaged on the Eastern Front, is why the communists took Russia and created the Soviet Union. So all of that sits on Woodrow Wilson's desk, and you're crazy if you think any of that's good for the country or the world.
Other than that, he was fantastic. Like, is that what you're running with? Really? Oh, man. I just thought that was fun. So, I love talking property tax with you, but at the same time, I like talking about history and this kind of stuff even more, because it was just watching some of the reaction on social media. Sometimes that's the fun and the joy is look at that discussion and then see the comments from some of the people. And it's like, I love when you get to the point where somebody is like, you're a jerk, I'm going away. It's like, okay, I guess the discussion's over, everybody. That's it. Yeah, anyway, it's fun. All right, listen, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas and looking forward to a great new year. All right, all the best. God bless.
Same to y'all.
All right, we'll see you soon. That is Lee County property appraiser and former state rep Matt Caldwell joining us on Florida's Voice. Yeah, there are people on the planet that walk the face of the earth that you don't want to get into a battle like this with on history and historical fact. And Matt Caldwell's that dude. I mean, anybody who could tell you who the governor is off the top of his head like that from 1960 is awesome. All right, let's take a break. Anytime you want to watch NFL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, it's Drew Steele, and this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch NFL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, just wanted to play this clip. I didn't get a chance to do this on Friday, so I thought I would play this now because there's a Gallup poll that, according to some, dropped a major bombshell about the U.S. political leaders and their approval ratings. And I just thought it was humorous because, first of all, there are some people who definitely like to follow polls. They believe wholeheartedly in the polls, even when you're looking at presidential election polling for 2028 and you're like, wait, are we in 2026? Hey, are we in 2026 yet? Yeah, you're not even there yet. And you're already like, so there's some people who are like, yeah, I love this. It's fun. And there's some people that are like, I don't like polls at all. I despise polls. I could think of somebody who's not a fan of polls.
I don't feel no ways tired.
That never gets old. I'm sorry. Can you imagine being Hillary Clinton in 2016 and thinking you got this thing in the bag because you rigged? I mean, because you had some people that were, because you tried to rig the election. You know, that whole thing, and you thought you were going to get away with it, and the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh no. Yeah, well, anyway. How times have changed. That's the lead here. Just follow me on this. How times have changed. For example, here's something that is interesting. U.S. political leaders' approval ratings, according to the latest Gallup poll. Now, Fox talked about this, and they opened up the segment by saying
the Senate Minority Leader falling behind Marco Rubio, JD.
So the Senate Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, falling behind Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Vice President J.D. Vance,
Hakeem Jeffries, Mike Johnson, and John Thune.
Oh, all right. Let me rephrase that. The Senate Minority Leader is Chuck Schumer. He has fallen behind Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Hakeem Jeffries, Mike Johnson, and John Thune as the most popular, you could say the most popular, U.S. political leaders' approval ratings, right? I mean, these, looking at the most popular out of these individuals. My, how times have changed. So Marco Rubio, as Secretary of State, is right now, according to Gallup, the most popular political leader in approval at 41%. Marco Rubio, who not too long ago debating Donald Trump on stage.
He is like a little baby.
You remember that? And people were like, wait, is he a rhino? Is he? And the questions about Marco Rubio. Now all of a sudden, talk about popular, something's changed, something's flipped, something happened in a good way. And wow, right? J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States. Absolutely, you would imagine. But for Marco Rubio to be ahead of him? Okay. But third on the list is Hakeem Jeffries, House Democrat leader at 37%. I'm pretty sure that if you walked right now down the street, wherever you live in the balmy state of Florida, and you talk to 10 people and you're like, hey, who's the House Democrat leader? They'd be like, what? Someone would probably tell you to shush it and move away or get out of my way and trying to get gas. I don't know, whatever the case may be. How could he be this popular, 37%? I'll bet you if you talk to 10 people, you wouldn't find one that knows him. And then I'm just saying. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson at 35, John Thune, Senate Majority Leader at 34. Really? And then Chuck Schumer, who's such a kind, gentle soul.
You won't know what hit you.
Except when he's not. Just putting that out there. Which maybe is too often that attitude at 28%. I don't know. I saw the poll, thought it was funny, and I thought I would bring it to you. Okay. Let's take a break. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, Quartec? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Quartec. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Quartec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Quartec floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D over there on the other side of the glass. And Nina's in the breaking newsroom, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Anytime you want to check out the program, you could watch right there. And we stream live, drewsteele.com. The website, Steele has 3 E's, works like an app. It's really not a great website. I should know because I did it. Just so that you can push the button and then it streams wherever you are. It works like an app, like I said. Or you can check out Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get them. A couple of things before we get going here. We are going to talk about the importance of elections and consequences when it comes to specific things that are going on locally, primaries, locally what's happening. You know, when you find out, for example, that you have someone in the state of North Carolina who has filed as a Republican, but only votes Democrat because they want to get in the primary because you see where we're going here? Because they want to kind of mess up the process in a state where, you would have something like this, or the ability to make it seem as if you're something you're not. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain this before we move on. We're going to dig into this story a little further because I don't want you to miss the lead on this. It is that there are going to be, listen, we live in the state of Florida. I think we know about good governance. I think we know about supermajorities and how you get here. You get here because of what you do on the other side of it. You can't just talk about it. You got to get it done. But there are people who are going to try and run as Republicans, make you think that they're a Republican because there's an R after their name, when in the meantime, they're Democrats who are trying to pull one over on you because they realize it's the only way they can win. I know it sounds crazy, but we're talking about the left here. And so I think we're talking about people who, look, you can say that, I don't know, some...
Lion, dog, face, pony shoulder.
I wasn't even talking about you. But anyway, I hope you understand where I'm going with this. And if you don't, I'll have some evidence of some of the voting issues that are happening in certain blue states, certain blue cities. I just want you to be aware of it. That's all. But on the other side of it, there are a lot of good things going on the Republican side. The GOP, look, working hard to do what's right for the American people. And oh, by the way, can I just throw this in there? As far as Florida, tangible, when you do things from a Republican conservative perspective, and then you have tangible results on the other side, that affects everybody, even the lefties in the state. You get to enjoy the fruits, see? And there's a lot that I'm sure people were talking to you about during the holidays on affordability and other different issues. Well, let's talk to Kirsten Powell, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. She's the GOP National Press Secretary, and I'm so glad we got a few minutes to have her on the program. It's Drew. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great for you. It's great to have you here. And as far as you're concerned, and I wonder how that has worked. It's probably easier for you because obviously on the inside you see what is going on. But you ever have those moments where you're sitting with family members and some are talking about affordability and it's like, no, we got this. We got a lot coming up. There's a lot that's going to be happening. And of what the economy is right now and how well we're doing. And sometimes how there are people that get, how do I put this? They get jaded by the noise that's out there from one side that wants you to believe that it's all negative when it's not, you know?
That's absolutely right. And we see the Democrats trying to brand themselves as the affordability party, which is utterly ridiculous because voters remember the 4 years under Biden where it was disaster. It was complete and utter disaster. You had a sky-high inflation. You had costs rising across the country, gas prices through the roof. He declared a war on American energy. And I think that some voters are still feeling that damage that is left behind by Biden's terrible economy. But President Trump is turning it around fast. In less than 1 year, voters are going to the gas station and seeing that gas prices are actually down. Energy costs are coming down. Inflation is getting under control. We just saw the GDP come in at a strong 4.3%, wildly beating expectations. And so all of these indicators are showing that the economy is getting better. And this is something that is going to continue to be improved upon by this administration. President Trump has made it clear that this is a top priority for him. And so I think when the mainstream media and the Democrats try to focus on the negatives, the voters might feel that they're being swarmed with all these sensational stories. But the truth of the matter is you can see it tangibly when you go to the gas station, when you see the prices coming down. And this is only going to continue to improve as we head into 2026 next year.
Right. And there's so much about that, too, that we have to continue to communicate. You know, I bring this up, Kirsten, because what ends up happening is I want people, not in a negative way, but we're in a week right now where you're going to see friends and family for New Year's, right? New Year's Eve, whatever the case may be. We just left a week where, you know, Christmas holidays, you're with family, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but what I'm saying is you've got to have the conversation. There are people that are going to be around your dinner table. Look, if like Angry Al, Uncle Al is angry and he's screaming, by all means, you can walk away and go and enjoy someone else's company. I understand that, but you do have to explain that, look, 1981, Ronald Reagan takes over an economy that was utterly destroyed by Jimmy Carter. And for a year, all we heard from 1981 to 82 was, where's this big economy? How is this going to be fixed? It was awful. It was horrible. Well, yeah, because it took time to get through the disaster that was Jimmy Carter, 14% interest rates, even odd gas days, all of these things that happened. You could make the case that, look, you just wait until 26 and you talk first, I think first, but even second, third quarter. This is where it becomes tangible. And it's not just talk. It will be there. And you've just got to be patient. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that that's a good parallel. And I would say, too, you know, I think that what's happening right now is that President Trump he's defying the experts. He's turning the economy around. And essentially, like, this is the reason that President Trump ran and won on the successful platform to begin with in 2024 is because he had already delivered the successful economy one time before. And so voters remembered that. And then they had 4 years of Biden where they were absolutely crushed and underwater. And they decided that they wanted to change and that they trusted President Trump to turn this around for them. And that's what he's doing. And so, especially when you go into next year, you're going to see the tax refunds start to hit from the One Big Beautiful Bill tax credits. That's real tangible relief for American families. Yeah. You might see a Trump-friendly Fed chair lower interest rates even further, which will supercharge the economy. And so I think, you know, we're making progress, and there's a ways to go. And I think voters will really start to see that coming in soon.
Two things before we go. First, I would love for you to maybe prognosticate a little bit, like for 26. We'll get there in just a second for the GOP. But before I get to that, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I was insulted, I think, is for me personally, that there are states who are saying, yeah, you know, no tax on tips. Yeah, you're not going to get that because TDS on steroids. You must be kidding if you are thinking California, New York, Maine, Colorado, I'm looking at you. You're going to take that opportunity away from Your citizens, you're one or the other. You're for them or you're not. If you're for them, then you're excited about this taking place because it helps them. If you're against them, then you don't allow it to take place in those states. I wonder what you thought of when you heard about that.
Well, I just think this is an example of why voters are fleeing blue states and going to red states. This is for a reason. This is because the Democrat governance in these liberal states are utterly destroying the economies and the communities and the livelihoods of the people that live there.
Yeah.
This is why we're seeing in the census and with what's happening with the population changes is that people are fleeing. They're going to places like Florida because the politicians there actually care about them and want to implement the policies that will benefit their lives instead of pushing down these far left radical policies that are really destroying the livelihoods, the people's lives in these blue states that live there, that have lived there for years and are now thinking, I might have to move because I can't afford to live in a community like this that's being crushed and that's being flooded with illegal immigration and all these other things, high taxes, for example. So I think, again, this is why states like your own are becoming so popular.
Yeah. And I don't want to say it's like high 70s, low 80s right now. that kind of helps a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
But absolutely, you know, when and just before we go again, 26 outlook for the GOP. I feel like, again, it goes to the second, third quarter. I feel like when people start to feel the tangible, they're like, that's what I voted for. I knew this was coming. I knew we were going to get through this. I knew this was going to take place, and it does. And then for all the people in the polling and whatever they're saying right now, we're not in it yet.
Right. And what I've been saying is, you know, we know history says that midterms are tough for the incumbent party, but history says that leadership matters. And we believe that this is a unique political moment because of this unique president and President Trump defying expectations, voters feeling the real improvements in their daily lives, especially going into next year. So this is a very different environment than what we typically see heading into a midterm election. And so I think what's also different about this time around is that President Trump has an unmatched ability to really energize voters and campaign nationwide. The White House has confirmed he's going to be traveling to these states. He's going to be campaigning with candidates. He's going to be really plugged in. I think we'll see the vice president out there as well. He'll be a force for turnout. So that kind of leadership really changes the traditional midterm calculus.
Yeah. All right, Kirsten, listen, thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. And I just want to apologize ahead of time. I got the weather report wrong. It's actually 72. And I feel bad that I said that. I know, and I feel bad. I don't know where you are, but I'm assuming, are you in a cold weather place right now?
It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold.
Okay. So
I'm in Maryland, so.
All right. So apology accepted for saying it was 72?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I just want to make sure before you go because, that's it's important to me. All right. Listen, great to speak with you. All the best. God bless. We'll speak soon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That's Kirsten Powell's joining us on Florida's Voice. Appreciate it. She is with the GOP. She is the National Press Secretary. And we appreciate a few minutes. All right. Yeah, I know she's going to be upset with me. I don't know. Dee, are you there? You think she's going to be upset with me? I mean, we'll have her back. So, no, he's not. Oh, it's just, I'm sorry. Dee's not over there on the other side of the glass. Nina's over there. It's just you, Nina. Okay. I got you. We'll keep an eye on some of the breaking news that's happening. Let me get back to what I was talking about with regard to voting. Number one, these stories that come out, you're like, it can't be. This is a joke. No, it's not. So you have Scott Pressler, who is like, I don't know if you know this, but a registered voter in Minnesota can vouch for up to 8 other voters in their precinct. Yeah, that person can vote. Yeah, it's no problem. Yeah, actually, all 7 of them can vote. Oh, yeah, they're of age, and no problem. Like, are you kidding me? A registered voter from your precinct can go with you to the polling place to sign an oath confirming your address. This is known as vouching. A registered voter can vouch for up to 8 people. That seems like a huge issue. Is Minnesota the only place where this takes place? I don't know. But I'm sure there are some intrepid reporters like Nick Shirley YouTuber who exposed over the weekend a lot of the Minnesota fraud with daycare centers. I'm sure there are people like him that are looking into this, along with Scott Pressler and others. You come to find out that in North Carolina, like we described, you have someone who has been voting as a Democrat since 2008, now getting into a Republican primary because there's nobody running, and filing as a Republican for North Carolina state Senate seats in the 2026 election. Basically, it feels like to mess with the primaries. Is that what's going on? Is that happening? And I bring all of this up because as this North Carolina Senate issue popped yesterday, as she's been voting for Democrats since 2008 and filing as a Republican, they're openly registering now and running as Republicans because they want to throw off the primaries, because unaffiliateds can vote in a partisan primary. To which Data Republican, who is fantastic on X, an important follow, was saying something that I just want to make sure people realize is going on. She says that NGOs are making primaries now a top target. Wait a minute, primaries? Yes. Not just any primaries, but state primaries. And the reasoning is, look, the gerrymandering has gotten completely out of control. The left was just, they always gerrymandered. But then the Supreme Court came along, and states, Republican states came along and said, yeah, we're not doing that. And have decided to change. I mean, I'm sure we're going to change a lot of what's going on here in the state because we should, because census and because Democrats. But now Democrats look at this and say, where's the next place that we can go to do something? You see what I'm saying? I don't want to say they're playing 4D chess because that's weird. The whole 3D, 4G, just stop it. But as Data Republican is saying, the gerrymandering means that 90% of the seats are safe. So why are you fighting over the 10% that may or may not go your way? They tend to be very, very expensive. Don't do it. It's more efficient to just take over the other 90%. So this is what they're going to do. They're just going to go after the state seats. They're going to go after what is going on specifically in primaries to try to work out those primaries to make it more difficult for Republicans. And she's saying that it's going to work too until we understand that primaries are going to be more important than generals from here on out. Wow. Like the battles will be won and lost in the primaries, not in the generals. Because if NGOs are saying we're going to fund people who are going to get into these primary battles as Republicans, but they're really not, and they start moving these people into these primaries in specific states where, again, you can have somebody unaffiliated vote in a partisan primary, all bets are off. They've figured out another way to do this. And just a reminder, is this? Let me see. And just a reminder that if Democrats get power, what are they going to do with said power? I think this is Ilhan Omar, who Western Lensman was putting out there as somebody that you should listen to, as she was talking to constituents and saying, when we get power back.
If we were in the majority, here's what we would be doing. We would be holding non-stop oversight hearings about what the Trump administration is doing, carrying out investigations into the corruption and the abuses of power and illegal actions.
Okay. So just in case you're wondering, how bad could it get? That's how bad it could get. That Ilhan Omar is letting you know, and she talked about this in April of 2025, that a Democrat congressional majority is going to immediately go after Trump and the administration for what they are describing as quote unquote illegal actions. And this is why 26 is so important. I mean, every year is important, of course, when you're dealing with the left. But man, when you hear about this, you understand how far the left is willing to go to win elections or rig elections. Did I say rig elections? You're not allowed to say that because they don't do things like that. Right, Joe?
I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I bet you do. All right. What else do we have going on here before we hit a break? All right. Some of the other stories that we are keeping an eye on. I know there's so much that's going on. The president of the United States, just a little while ago, our own Eric Doherty has been following the president along with Benjamin Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago, and the president very serious about what has been going on in Gaza with Hamas, and is not very happy about some of the things that are happening, and said,
we talked about Hamas and we talked about disarmament, and they're going to be given a very short period of time to disarm, and we'll see how that works out. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be in charge of that from our side. But if they don't disarm, as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay for them. And we don't want that. We're not looking for that. But they have to disarm within a fairly short period of time.
I wonder what that fairly short amount of time is. But the president sounds quite serious for those that are listening there. So saying that it's going to be hell to pay if Hamas refuses to disarm, and it's going to be a very short period of time. They agreed to do it as part of this peace deal. And so what will happen next, I'm not quite sure. But again, we keep an eye on this story. There's more audio from the president from just a little earlier today. We'll get to that coming up in just a minute. Hey, look, when you're making a major purchase like a car, you want to have a lot of choices, right? Makes and models and accessories. Well, at Strata Air Conditioning and Heating, they feel homeowners should be able to select from a full range of air conditioning manufacturers and models, because you want to make sure you're getting the exact right system for you, your home, your lifestyle, your budget. Strata sells and services every major manufacturer, including Carrier, Goodman, Daikin, Trane, Mitsubishi, and Lennox. And they are committed to 5-star customer service. So visit strataac.com. That's STRADAAC.com. Schedule an appointment, get a text confirmation. You can even follow your text progress to your house. You ought to call Strata, license number CACO 43953. All right, in just a couple of more minutes, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom. That will be next. And then we'll pick up on some other stories. The no tax on tips story is unbelievable. The fact that there's Democrats out there who say that they're for the working men and women, but no tax on tips isn't going to be happening in the state. Like, what? Yeah, that's going on. And also the latest out of Minnesota, and just the unbelievable video and audio that we have of Nick Shirley and what he's discovered and some of the fraud going on there.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. Is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's rock-solid countertops and more. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock solid countertops and more.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true, people are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to check out the program at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. All right, let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom we call the Top of the News.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines now.
And for the last time today, Michelle Vesarina's in the Florida's Voice newsroom. What's up?
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
Here's what's topping the news. President Trump has announced a major escalation in the war on narco trafficking, appearing to confirm the United States has carried out its first land strike against Venezuelan narco traffickers. The president revealed there was a massive explosion in a dock area used to load boats with drugs, stating that U.S. forces hit the vessels and the entire implementation area. Trump declared that the facility is no longer around, signaling a new era of decisive action against cartels exploiting the region. This would be the first land strike against Venezuela since the pressure campaign began. President Trump says we are getting a lot closer to ending the war in Ukraine following a Mar-a-Lago meeting with Vladimir Zelensky. The president described the Sunday talks as terrific and revealed he recently spent 2.5 hours on the phone with Vladimir Putin. Trump says his bold diplomacy is bridging gaps that persisted for years, stating he is willing to travel to Ukraine personally if it would help save 25,000 lives a month. Zelensky expressed his gratitude for the negotiations as the administration moves toward a vision of peace through strength. Congressman Byron Donalds is sounding the alarm on what he calls a massive Somali fraud ring exploiting American taxpayers. Donalds highlighted a viral investigation claiming to expose over $110 million in fraudulent spending within Minnesota's childcare programs. The footage shows multiple daycare centers receiving millions in subsidies despite appearing completely empty. Donalds, who is also running for Florida governor, says the House Oversight Committee is actively investigating these foreign criminals to stop the exploitation of taxpayer dollars. And that's all for right now. Be sure to visit flvoicenews.com for more on these stories and all the news impacting our state. Make sure to sign up for our daily emails while you are there. It's completely free and delivered directly to your inbox. It's the best way for conservatives to stay informed on the latest politics in Florida and Washington. I'm Michelle Vesarina, senior reporter for Florida's Voice. Drew, back to you.
All right, Michelle Vesarina in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories that they are working on, simply you just go to flvoicenews.com. It's Florida's Voice, the website. All right, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. So a lot has been said so far today about what Nick Shirley and others are talking about and describing with regard to his 42 minutes exposing fraud in Minnesota, $110 million in one day at these daycares that supposedly have all of these children in them. And then you come to find out that when he goes and they go to these locations, there are no children there. But there's a lot of money that's gone out. No addresses on the latest that we looked at. When we just talked about this earlier, following the exposure of millions in fraud at Somali-run care centers in Minnesota. They're worried about, and some people are seeing this on social media, similar concerns in places like Washington State. 539 of about 5,000 licensed care centers are lacking a physical address. Oh, and by the way, they're Somali-run. Are we allowed to ask questions about how that's even possible? And Nick Shirley has been someone who's been doing great work there as a YouTuber. I know there's some people that were like, oh, YouTuber? Like, really? What did he discover? What is he doing? Is he telling you how to fix a car in 10 easy steps using a toothbrush? Is there somebody that's doing something like that? That would be really weird. But no. No, he's actually somebody who is looking into a lot of the stories that apparently the quote-unquote journalists, the smarter among us, refusing to do. There were updates at the White House that the president was doing recently. If you remember, he had the roundtable of social media influencers there at the White House, along with, who was it there? It was, you could see Susie Wiles and Stephen Miller and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, along with AG Bondi and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, and I see Kash Patel there, FBI Director. And look, if you're wondering about Nick Shirley and who this guy is, and he came out of the middle of nowhere, you sure about that? I mean, listen to this.
Please, go ahead. Yeah, my name's Nick Shirley. I'm 23 years old. I'm a 100% independent YouTube journalist. And over the past year or so, I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs of Brazil, in the favelas, in the prisons of Secot. But yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States, and there's nothing organic about what they are doing here in the United States. I've watched people be bussed in from states. I've watched the same lady at a protest in Atlanta be bussed to protest in DC and then in New York City. There's nothing that is honest about what they are doing.
Is it true? Is that really? Is there anybody that wants to look into that? Because he's got evidence to show that that is what's going on. Nothing organic about what's going on in the United States. There was the same lady at a protest in Atlanta being bussed to a protest in D.C. and then bussed to New York City. And saying, look, there's nothing honest about what they're doing. They've got signs, the same signs in D.C. as in London. He sees it. He reports on it. He puts it out there. So this is the same person, Nick Shirley, who has been keeping an eye on the left in this country and around the world. So spare me if you're like, who is this kid? And I don't understand. Okay. Well, again, this is someone who has been doing some incredible reporting on the fraud that's going on in Minnesota. And, you know, earlier today, I was filling in for Eric Erickson on his program this afternoon from noon to 3. And a little while ago, we had Congressman Byron Donalds on. We were talking about, among other issues, this very issue. And, you know, one of the big problems becomes, what do we do? Like, what are we going to do about all of this? How do we stop it? In other words, if you've got city council members who are in on it, allegedly, and you have politicians who maybe have done quite the opposite of trying to stop any of this, but maybe in some way, shape, or form have helped this to happen in their purview. And then, as Eric Doherty, our own Eric Doherty, Eric L. Daw, D-A-U-G-H on X, pointed out last week, what about this nugget of a story that maybe we should talk about?
Big reversal in a $7.2 million fraud case in Hennepin County. The judge has thrown out the jury's guilty verdict.
What? The judge threw out the guilty verdict?
This wasn't some technical hiccup. These fraudsters, Abdel Yusuf and Lul Ahmed, were convicted on 6 counts of charges, months of evidence, a jury that deliberated for hours, all erased in one ruling.
Yusuf and his wife, Lul Ahmed, were charged with stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money through Medicaid overbilling in a personal care assistant, or PCA, scam. The couple allegedly spent tens of thousands of the fraud money.
And here's the part that rattled people inside the system. The judge didn't say the fraud didn't happen. She said the state couldn't prove who was responsible, which raised this question on everyone's minds. If a case this obvious can't hold, what happens to the rest?
What happens to the rest? And that's something that we were talking about a little earlier today. When you have judges who are allowing this to take place, when you have politicians who are allowing it to happen, when you have people on city council who are encouraging it, possibly, allegedly, when all of this is going on, what do? Like, this place is deeply corrupt, Minnesota. And you can tell people all you want that you need to vote in someone else. It's not going to happen. You can't. It's hard to change the election in a place where you have those that are working the scam, let's just say, the populace, enough of them to vote for this and continue this happening. You can't bring enough people in who look at the fraud and say enough is enough to change it. And the only way you can do it is to turn off the spigot. Kicking and screaming, all the things that have to be done, you've got to do it from a federal level and, by and large from a state level, but mostly from a federal level. You've got to have audits. You've got to turn off the spigot. We need to see where all the money is going. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's Florida. I don't care. Everything's perfect in Florida. There's no such thing as perfect. I'd like to know where my money's going. It's okay. I mean, yeah, if you want to get into this, when I hear about a lot of the environmentalist causes in the state of Florida and, clean water and that's what we're trying to do here and Everglades restoration and the like, it's like, hey, excuse me. Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's true here. Yeah. Hey, can I see where all the money's going? I just want to know. I'm not saying anything's going wrong or you're doing anything wrong. I just want to make sure that the money is going to the places that we are told it's going. And we don't have any big, crazy, lefty environmentalist groups who are getting any of that money so that they'll zip it and not cause a lot of trouble and make things easy for. I'm not saying anything like that is happening. I'm just saying there's a good way never to have that doubt in my mind. And that would be I need to see the books. So I don't care whether it's the state of Florida or any place else. That's going to be tough. It's going to be hard to do. But that's how it's going to get done. And again, when I say kicking and screaming, it's like, wait a second, are you telling me that people who came into the country illegal are criminals? Yeah, because they broke the law. You can't say that. I just did. And I'm not wrong. And neither are you for saying it. What are you going to do? They've got to leave and come back legally. Can't do that. Watch me. And then you do it. Because either you have a country that has rules and laws and borders or you don't. That's all I'm saying. All right. 866-588-8303 is the phone number. Some of the other stories that, gotta get. Hey, D, are you back yet on the other side of the glass?
I am here.
Okay. Can you do me a favor? Would you reach out to EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, see if we can get him on this week to comment on what I'm about to play?
I can do that.
Okay. Director James Cameron is, he's the dude that did, Avatar, Titanic. He's got quite the imagination as a director. Okay. But he's making some pretty wild claims. Check this one out. And this goes right to Lee Zeldin. Listen.
Feel about the direction of Trump's America right now?
Oh, what do you think about the direction of Trump's America right now?
I think you know how I feel about it. I think it's horrific. You've got the so-called Environmental Protection Agency that's now been taken over by the pantheon of demons.
Hey, D, you think it'll be interesting to get a live reaction from Lee Zeldin, the EPA administrator, to find out about his pantheon of demonship? Wait, did he just say that?
Yeah, we'll get it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'd like to get his take on this. But just suffice to say that lefties are going to be lefties. James Cameron is one of them. He's talking about how Trump is destroying everything. Okay. And the TDS runs deep. I think there's even some Rosie O'Donnell news out there as well, where I think she said something like, I'm on social media right now to let you know that I'm not going to be talking about Trump anymore and coming on social media. But then she's there and she's talking on social media. It's
in the news about you-know-who. He's making crazy posts like someone with temporal frontal lobe dementia. And out of control. When are they going to do the 25th Amendment? They're not
going to. We're not doing the 25th Amendment. It's not going to happen. Trust me. If it didn't happen to that guy, I'm just saying. So Rosie's like, I'm not going to talk about Trump anymore. By the way, am I on social media right now talking about Trump? Oh no, I just broke my own rule here. Okay. Let's take a break. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, coming up, we're going to get into more of what's been going on in Minnesota and the fraud and what we've been finding out. What the sleuths on the interwebs and YouTube and the like have been finding out. It's like a, what's the right word? It's like a cornucopia of news. It's like a deluge. That's the word I was looking for.
Good word.
It's a deluge. Cornucopia and deluge both are. You bet me $5 that I couldn't do those words together in the same sentence. I just did it. No, that's not true. We didn't bet. We don't do that. So we'll get to all of that coming up. But in the, hey, don't fall in love with every leftist who says something you like, Bill Maher is getting upset with people who, for some reason, have this Trump derangement syndrome, which literally, no kidding, exists, right? Do you remember that, Dee, the other day? Wasn't there a doctor? We played the video of a doctor who's like, yeah, TDS, it's real. People are coming into my practice. Like I think
it was a psychiatrist, right?
Yeah, and he's like, this is real, and people can't stop talking. And so here you have John Stamos and Bill Maher, and the end of the conversation, I think there's a cuss word in there, so I'll have to dump that. But as they start to end this conversation, and here's how it goes.
Anyway, let's not go there.
You brought it up.
I didn't.
Talking about Trump. You brought it up. Talking about Trump.
Did I?
I know, but we've both been bringing it up. Trumpian.
It is hard. It is a phenomenon we have never seen before.
Right.
That one person would dominate
every
just the national
every dinner.
Every dinner. Look at his face. He's so angry, John Stamos. Every conversation, every dinner. I'm not. You're doing this. You know, it's really weird how the left does that kind of thing, right? They say you do, and they fill in the blank. Every istanobia that they throw out, you're always talking about Trump. I can't remember the last time I was with someone and had a conversation like this week, for example. Had a conversation about Trump. Now, if I solicited the conversation because it was somebody I didn't know, and I do that kind of thing, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about them, and it came up, and I would bring it up, but never. And you're probably the same way. Like I didn't instigate Trump conversations. You all instigate the Trump conversations. When Bill Maher goes off and he's like, it's a phenomenon we've never seen before. If that's your whole personality, if the first thing out of your mouth is, what are you doing about Trump? He says, I can't talk to you. And I'm not doing it. Dee's not doing it. You're doing it. So go to the doctor, and the doctor says, you say to the doctor, it hurts when I do that. He'll say, stop doing that. That's it. You don't have to worry about being hurt anymore. I just solved your problem. But man, again, can I make this full screen? Look at John Stamos' face. I know if you're driving, you can't see his face, but he looks so, just so angry. He looks so unlike, what was the character he played on TV? What was that? Wasn't that Open House or Super House?
It's Full House.
Full House,
I don't remember his character name.
Yeah, okay. Well, don't worry about the character. All right, so that face that he's making right there, if you're driving and you can't see, I'm just telling you, it's so un-Full House-like. Yeah. Oh, Nina knows. What's it? Nina, crack the mic. What's his name? John Stamos? I know John Stamos. What's his name in the show? You can say it.
Jesse.
Yeah. Of course Nina would know Jesse. But that's a very angry face. That's the kind of face where you just, man, it's the kind of face that your mom would say, don't make that face. It's going to get stuck like that, and then you're going to really be in trouble. That was a good way of describing it, actually. There's the music. We got to go. All right, a lot of other much more important things going on we'll get to coming up next. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with CoreTech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for CoreTech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my CoreTech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom. And you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Coming up, I'm going to replay an interview I did just a little while ago on Eric Erickson's show. I was filling in for Eric a little earlier today. Had the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith, on. And among other things, we were talking about how he feels, like literally I brought this up. D, I don't know, thinking back, you think it was a good idea or a bad idea to open up the conversation with the congressman from Missouri about the fact that he doesn't, well, soon, will not have any NFL teams in his state because the Kansas City Chiefs.
You had to bring it up, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was the beginning or the end.
Yeah, and judging by his tone, I probably should have waited till the end. So we'll get to that coming up in just a bit. But there's plenty of news that's out there with regard to the story that everybody seems to be talking about today. And how could you be talking about anything else when it's hard to believe that this kind of fraud has been happening for this long in this country? You've got, let's see, who is it again? Why am I drawing a blank? Nick Shirley, there you go. Nick Shirley, who was doing these interviews, 42 minutes of interviews on fraud that's going on in the state of Minnesota. And
hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question.
There aren't any kids. It's 42 minutes of some of the most unbelievable video you're going to see exposing what has been taking place in Minnesota in this fraud. $110 million in one day of fraud through daycare centers. And again, some of what has come out just even in the past 24 hours on this, as you have all these daycare centers getting paid taxpayer dollars, and there's no kids in the daycare centers. You have people who it looks as if they've known about this kind of fraud. It's been going on for years.
Wow, how many kids are there in the Twin Cities. Some of them are by my office, and I would watch, and I said, well, there aren't any kids there. And I go to another one, there aren't any kids there, and I'd see just some guys, some Somali guys outside smoking cigarettes. So I stopped at one of them, and I said, hey, I'm just wondering, I've got a grandson who's looking for childcare, and I wonder if this might be a good facility. And they said, no, we're all full. And they had the door open, and I looked, and there were no kids. There was like a couch and a table with a couple chairs, and I said, well, are the kids out back playing, or what kind of place is this? And the guy said, you go, and he almost pushed me out the door, and then he followed me down the street to my car, and that's when I said, wait a minute, there's something going on here, and that's got to be maybe 5 years ago.
5 years ago, this guy saw this kind of thing happening, and now it's getting exposed. The question is, and I guess the bigger, broader question would be, are there situations like this in other states? It's 539 childcare centers in Washington state that list Somali as the primary language. Most don't even give a street address. That's out there. Are we allowed to talk about that? Nope. Well, I mean, we are, and we will. And as many people have pointed out, the legacy media knew all about this. It's not like they avoided this fraud story. They dismissed it. They made it up. They made it about xenophobia or racism. And there are plenty of examples that are out there where you can see this. Drew Holden is the managing editor at American Compass. And on his Substack, he was putting all of this up. The AP, where would America be without us? A community of refugees is stunned by White House limits. Minnesota's largest Somali community was among the immigrant groups that helped revitalize the Lake Street corridor, we're told in the AP. Minnesota's Somalis are as Minnesotan as tater tot hot dish, CNN said on December 7th. D, do you have any idea what tater tot hot dish is?
Hot tater tots in a dish.
I guess so. And that is quite Minnesotan. And I guess Somalian as well. I'm not really sure. But these are the kind of stories. And again, as people started to talk more and more about this, it became more and more about anything and everybody else. What do I mean? This is probably the #1 audio clip of the day. Our top 5 audio clips we do each and every day at 5:35. This might be the biggest. Why? Because you go to Morning Joe on MS, whatever they call themselves these days, and you get Mara Gay, who's an opinion writer for the New York Times. She's about as lefty as they get. And you talk about trying to cover for crimes being committed, or at least not looking to explore, not looking to maybe do some journalism and dig deep into what is going on here and expose it, as you claim to care about the exposure of it, no matter where it takes us. Not my words, hers. I want you to listen to what she said. This is unbelievable.
Sure. So these were funds that were meant to go to help feed hungry people during the COVID pandemic, to help keep people in their homes who were at risk of homelessness. So first of all, if there is fraud there.
Let me just stop. She's talking about the fraud that was going on during COVID. We're not even talking about that here. We're talking about the fraud of these supposed daycare centers where people are getting money from the state tax dollars and federal tax dollars, and they don't even have a daycare center. So she's talking about a different fraud out here. Now listen to the way she describes it.
Who are at risk of homelessness. So first of all, if there is fraud there, that should be fully investigated.
Should be fully investigated. I'm with you so far, Mara.
No matter where it is.
No matter where it is, absolutely.
Whether it's in a Democratic-led state, a Republican-led state.
You better believe it. Wherever it leads us, wherever this crime goes, we're going to follow it right to the ends of the earth, right? I'm sorry. It's really hard to keep a straight face because I know what's coming. And I also know that she's not being fully honest and transparent about that, because if you know where it is and you're hearing all about this and you've been hearing for years and years and years, and I'm not kidding, it's been like over 5 years, 10 years in some cases, since 2018 at least, where you've been hearing about this fraud that's been going on in Minnesota, and you've done no reporting on it and talked about it all and investigated and helped to stop it. It's hard for me to follow this. Okay, so then she says,
I mean, let's pull back. So
okay, so here comes the fun, everybody. Mara Gay, who's an opinion writer piece for the New York Times, who's about as lefty as they come, wants you to take a step back and let's talk about what's really going on here.
Absolutely, it should be investigated. The question is, why is this a priority in a different kind of way? The politicization of the DOJ and the FBI is undeniable.
Hey, do I need to go any further with this? I mean, it's another minute of her talking, but isn't that enough? Can I just stop there? I think I will. So, the opinion writer for the New York Times, Mara Gay, wants to let people know that, look, the Somali fraud and the stuff that's going on in Minnesota, let's take a step back and really point out what's going on here in the issue. That it's Trump, and his focus is because he's weaponizing the DOJ against Somalis. And from the far right, it's all about going after them. I'm assuming because xenophobic, racism, I guess. So that is the most unbelievable thing I've ever heard. You bet that's where they're going. Now, before we move on, the most important piece of audio here that I think we need to focus on, and the one thing I think we all can agree, is that people need to be held accountable. If we don't see anything happen after all of this, if it's just another, there it goes, everybody, bye-bye, news cycles change, let's talk about something else. If that's what happens, it's bad. To which the great representative Anna Paulina Luna said this on Fox.
Look, I think I share the same frustrations with many Americans in that who wants to see another hearing without there actually being charges brought against people that are essentially defrauding the federal government and stealing from American citizens that deserve a lot of these resources that they're stealing. And so I'm hoping that we'll bring these people forward, that they can give us names and people that the DOJ can arrest. But I don't want there to just be another announcement, another angry, 15-second tweet on X, and then have it go away. I think that the DOJ needs to perp walk people if they've broken the law.
Yep. Could not agree with her more. James Comer and the House Oversight Committee is expanding investigations into the fraud scandal in Minnesota that gets bigger and bigger by the day. And Representative Luna's spot on. We want to see people perp walked. I don't want to watch it go away. I don't want you to keep talking. Sorry, that was weird. I don't want you to talk. I want something to be done. She's right. All right, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. What else do we have going on here? Oh, man. I don't know if we have enough time to play this full interview, but I'll play some of it. This is Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith, who joined us a little while ago. I was filling in for Eric Erickson on his show. And we talked about a lot of what's going on with the Trump administration. And then I brought up the maybe uncomfortable situation of what is the Chiefs and the Rams, and how is it even possible that there's no football team in the future in the state of Missouri? He's not very happy about that.
Drew, it's a complete shock. This isn't just the first nor the second. This is the third time the NFL has allowed Missourians to basically get kicked in the face. And the fact that the billions of dollars for years that have went into the Chiefs organization to make them the dynasty that they are, and for them to basically turn their back on Missourians is a disgrace. And I was a major Chiefs fan. That has always been my team. But I can't tell you how disappointed I am in Clark Hunt, the organization. Even the state of Missouri did everything they could and thought was necessary in order to keep them. And then they just ripped the rug from underneath them. NFL teams should not be able to do this by bringing in billions of tax-free dollars. Maybe it's something the Ways and Means Committee might need to look into.
Oh, okay. I kind of feel bad, sir, because maybe I should have ended this conversation because there's so many good things that are going on that we're getting ready to talk about. Maybe we should have ended with this part of the conversation. But anyway, let's talk about some other things that are going on seriously with the Ways and Means Committee. And obviously, as the chairman, and some of the things that you are looking at, a lot of people, look, during the holidays, they were talking about what's happening with working families and the concerns that they have about tax cuts and what we're doing here and the affordability issue. Maybe speak to have people said things to you about that, like the affordability issue and what are we doing here and what more can we do? And then on the other side of it is there is a lot that has been done.
Drew, the good thing is on July 4th, with the signage of the big, beautiful bill, we prevented the largest tax increase in history from taking effect on January 1st of this coming year. If we would have not passed the one big, beautiful bill, on average, every single American would have faced over a 20% tax increase. We prevented that from happening. Not only did we prevent that from happening in the big, beautiful bill, we did additional tax relief. We increased the child tax credit. We increased the standard deduction. We created no tax on tips for tipped employees, no tax on overtime for overtime employees. And for seniors, we increased their tax deduction. And that will lead to the largest refund season next year in the history of our country. It is projected that more than $90 billion in refunds.
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind, and I think we've had this conversation before. The first one is obviously I really get the sense that even now there's this sensation, this feeling. I mean, listen, if anybody went this weekend and decided they wanted to return some gifts, they saw a whole lot of people that were buying gifts, an indication of maybe confidence in what's to come. And you could say first quarter, second quarter, people feel like, and the people that I talk to, and maybe you hear the same thing, is you're really going to see and feel a lot more coming as you get what has passed through the big, beautiful bill into the economic bloodstream,
I have no doubt that in the second and third quarter of next year, you will see record growth. We saw just in the most recent GDP of this last quarter, the first quarter that has been in effect since passage of the big, beautiful bill, because that was passed on July 4th. We have a growth rate of 4.3%. Guess what? All those congressional scorekeepers said that upon passage of the big, beautiful bill, growth rate would be 1.8%. 1.8%. We're more than double that in just the first quarter following it. And when you talk about the record amounts of investment that the president has been negotiating to bring into the United States, almost $18 trillion, and you combine that with the big, beautiful bill and tax provisions such as like 100% expensing for new factories. This is only going to grow the economy, and it's only going to create more jobs.
Representative Jason Smith joining us here in the Eric Erickson Show. This is Drew Steele filling in for Eric. He's chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, representing Missouri 8. And all right, well, let's just stop there. Okay, so that was a little bit of my interview earlier today with Jason Smith. He was joining us as I was filling in. Oh, there I am, for Eric Erickson on his program today. So That took place earlier today, and I just wanted you to hear a little bit of what he had to say because, there are these moments, there are times when, and even now, the conversation comes up about, when am I going to start feeling this? When are we going to start getting that? The president talking about bringing down the price of houses and what we can do to make them more affordable so that we can get people off the sideline and in the game. That to me might be a little bit of an issue. I would like to see, for example, the president do something about getting Jerome Powell out of there, the Fed, and doing something with regard to the issue of bringing down interest rates. I think that's a huge part of what many people would like to see happen. And so that's hopefully something that will be coming up. I think the president even brought that up a little earlier today. Let me see if I can find that. And I think Eric Doherty even had that on his X account where he was talking about, did he say, hey, D, did you see if you could find that for me? I'll bet you can faster than I can. It was the president talking about Jerome Powell at the Fed. And I think he literally said he wants to sue him for what he's done to the American people. There it is. Thank you. Good job. All right. So here it is. He wants him to resign and say, did he say, okay, so hold on a second. Yeah, here it is. All right. Let's play this clip of audio right here. It's the president talking about Jerome Powell.
That was supposed to help get her elected. It had no impact. We won all 7 swing states. But no. We're thinking about bringing a suit against Powell for incompetence.
So they're thinking about bringing a lawsuit against Jerome Powell at the Fed for incompetence. What?
Because think of it. These aren't outstanding buildings. These are small buildings.
No, we're talking about the buildings, the issue of building that was going on in Washington, D.C., and how long it was taking and the cost of billions of dollars that it was costing. And it's like, wait a second, renovations. I do construction. I think there's something off here. And remember that whole discussion? He went there with him and they had the hard hat on and they're looking at all this and it's like, it shouldn't cost this much. Yes, it does, sir. No, I don't think it does. Yes, it does, sir. That whole thing?
He said $4 billion more. It's going to end up costing more than $4 billion. $4 billion. It's the highest price of construction. Again, Democrats, highest price of construction per square foot in the history of the world. There's never been. Gorgeous monuments are built for a much smaller price. So we're thinking about bringing a gross incompetence, what's called gross incompetence lawsuit. It's gross incompetence against Powell. And it was his baby. And the guy's just incompetent. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. He's just.
Well, I mean, there is something you could do about it. I guess you could sue him. Yeah. So how about that? You like apples? How about them apples? So the president's about to launch possibly a lawsuit against Fed Chair Jerome Powell for gross incompetence, and he's got to go. I mean, how do you do that? $4 billion for renovations of a building. And then I think there was one other question about Jerome Powell and about his resignation. Do we have enough time to play this? Let's try it.
You asked Jay Powell to resign from the board
entirely? It'd be a favor to the nation. But he's come close. I mean, we're getting pretty close. I would fire him. I'd love to fire him, but we're so close, maybe maybe I still might.
I still might fire him, but we're so close. Can you imagine? I'm just trying to think of any other business or any other place where you could be like at your, imagine this, you're at your office and it's like, hey, is Drew you gonna fire Drew yet? Nah, I think we're on the verge of getting him to quit. It's like,
let's just wait it out.
Let's just wait it out. Oh man, I don't know. It's like, it's hard. It's funny. All right. The top 5 audio clips of the day. This is going to be tough because there's a lot of good stuff. We'll get tough, a lot of good stuff. I did that.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true, people are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection, and hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world, from bow and arrow to hook and bullet. As man evolved, our link to those traditions remain with them forever. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. The misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it, or leading a war against our heritage and their misguided policies and protests. They demonize hunters and belittle our way of life, the results of hunters leaving the sport in droves, while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system, a system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. All right, we do it each and every day at this time. It's the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
It's disgraceful. People live off of tips. So for her to do that is just, it's disheartening. It's upsetting. I'm Zoe. I work at the Embassy Diner for 2 years. It's very disappointing. I was looking forward to that when the president was running, so it's a little disappointing. It's all my livelihood. Really, we live off of tips, so getting taxed on them and losing money is definitely a big hit, and it makes living a little bit more difficult.
It makes living a little more difficult. So if you ever get in a position where you're like, Democrats care about the working class more than Republicans do, and I can prove it, I would like to see how they prove it, because they're disproving it all the time. That is a worker at the Embassy Diner who is livid because Kathy Hochul, who is the governor, the Democrat lefty governor of the state of New York, will not allow Trump's no tax on tips policy to take place in the state. And so this person now is being affected by this. It's their livelihood. And they were really looking forward to voting for Trump and then having this take place and being able to enjoy the fruits of their labor, only to find out that New York Democrats are like, nope, we'll take that fruit. Thank you very much. Actually, we won't even give you the opportunity to have that fruit. And then there's the other part of this video, which is there was that music playing. CD, there it is. There's the problem right there. Why is she's ripping up a dollar bill and throwing it into the air? I thought
somebody could use that dollar.
Well, yeah, number one, somebody could use it. Number two, isn't that a crime? Is that a crime to? Isn't it a crime to like do something like that to money, like just to rip up the money, or is that like don't destroy a penny, otherwise we'll come get you? Like you can't do anything. Did you just drill a hole into that penny? You're under arrest. Actually, I think.
Well, now pennies are an endangered species.
Yeah, that's true. I guess now it's maybe it was just me, and when I was a kid, and my parents used to say that to me all the time because they're like, don't rip that dollar up. Give it to your father. Quickly. You can use it for something.
Number 4.
In your mind, sir, what are the thorniest issues still unresolved after the
Well, I think the land you're talking about, some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs, but it may be taken over the next period of a number of months. And you're better off making a deal now. Look, let me tell you, they have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage. But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it. And I think it's time to end. And a lot of very brave people, a lot of people that are dead right now, unfortunately, because I've said, and nobody's disputed it, that if the election weren't rigged and stolen, 2020, you wouldn't have had this war. It would have never happened.
Wow. So that is the president of the United States standing next to the Ukrainian President Zelensky, who was at Mar-a-Lago over the weekend. and pretty much like, listen, we want to get this war over with. We want this to be done with. What are the thorniest issues right now? And the president's like, the land. Some of that land's been taken. You're better off making a deal right now. Can we stop the killing? At least there is a president of the United States who honestly, truly did care about stopping a war, unlike some people.
I got hairy legs.
Who are trying to impress people with their hairy legs or something to that effect. It's like
Number 3.
These were funds that were meant to go to help feed hungry people during the COVID pandemic, to help keep people in their homes who were at risk of homelessness. So, first of all, if there is fraud there, that should be fully investigated, no matter where it is, whether it's in a Democratic-led state, a Republican-led state. I mean, let's pull back. So absolutely, it should be investigated. The question is, why is this a priority in a different kind of way? The politicization of the DOJ and the FBI is undeniable. So whether they are reliable narrators is the big question. And
oh, okay. So that's Mara Gay. She's an opinion writer for the New York Times. She's a lefty. And there she goes on to MS Now. Okay, whatever. I'll go with it. Used to be MSNBC. And they're talking about the Minnesota fraud probe. One of the many different probes. You have money taken from Medicaid. You've got issues of daycare centers and that don't exist, but some people are getting paid from them. And so her comment is, you got to follow the fraud wherever Republican states, Democrat states, doesn't make a difference where it is. But at the same time, this president is weaponizing the DOJ. What are you trying to say? Oh, I know what you're trying to say. So you're trying to blame it on Trump. And the only reason why he's focusing on it is because his DOJ is weaponized and it's really not as bad as you think, or it's really not happening, or you're racist and xenophobic. I mean, which one is it? Which one of the very, very wrong answers, Marigay, is it that you're trying to put out there instead of addressing what is going on? It's so lefty media of you.
Number 2.
Think of it, the Federal Reserve building, 2 buildings there, they don't know what they're doing. They're way over budget. I mean, almost, this was built during the Biden administration, and I rode by it the other day, and it's headed by the head of the Federal Reserve. Too late, too late, Powell. Too late because he's always too late with interest rates, except before the election. He was too early because that would have helped. That was supposed to help get her elected. It had no impact. We won all 7 swing states. But no. We're thinking about bringing a suit against Powell for incompetence.
Wow. So there it is. So the president of the United States was being asked about Jerome Powell. And, how is it that you have $4 billion, a $4 billion construction that's going on a building like that's impossible. Like $4 billion with a B? You got to be kidding me. The highest price of construction per square foot in the history of the world. And so the president's like, Jerome Powell, I got an idea. How about we do this? How about we bring a lawsuit? It's taxpayer dollars, and maybe we bring a lawsuit against you and figure out why it is you would do something like that, because it seems like a little more than just incompetence there. It's
Number 1.
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center. We've arrived to ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out. I would like to check a child in the daycare. Why? Can I speak to a manager? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork, or can I check out the daycare?
You got $2.66 million this year in funding and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
boom, doors shut and locked. As video is showing the Minnesota daycare with misspelled signs and no kids. That sounds just fine, everybody.
Drew's top 5.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not fine. And so Nick Shirley on his YouTube account exposing all of this, and what good work he's doing, trying to get to the bottom of it. to the bottom of something that feels like it's been out there for a very long time. That maybe there were people that actually knew about some of what was going on. But if they didn't know, they certainly were helping it along. This is a really uncomfortable video from 2024 of the governor of the state of Minnesota, Tim Walz, who is... and
I'm a knucklehead at times.
True. Who wanted to let people know during the vice presidential debate 2024 that they were doing some pretty impressive stuff in the state of Minnesota. It's a minute long. I want to play all of it because you're not going to believe it.
We in Minnesota passed a paid family medical leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home a certain amount of time. What we know is that gets the child off to a better start. The family works better. We stay in their employers. We get more consistency in that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota, and we see growth. That's how you become a pro-business state. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
The children... I want all of my children. What do you mean to make it easier to have all the children? D, is that just me, or is that a really weird thing to say at the very end of that conversation? Make it so that you could have
It's a really weird guy.
It really is. So they made it easier in Minnesota for people to get into the childcare business. He put that out there while he was having this debate against J.D. Vance at the time in 2024. Interesting, isn't it now, as we hear this, knowing that it was the daycares that were getting all of this money. And some are asking, well, what's that all about? So if they're getting all of this money, daycares, and it's millions of dollars over years and years and years to people, and it seems mostly Somalis who are getting this money, and then we find out some of the things that they're doing with the money, and you wonder what is it that they're getting paid for? Like, are they just taking advantage of a system that was set up improperly, and that's what it is? It's like, well, this is what you did, and so I'm going to tell you. I mean, I guess I might as well. $2.4 million last year from that one daycare, and they didn't even have any kids in it. What are we doing here? Maybe we need to move to Minnesota and open up a daycare center because apparently the money's just flowing. Don't do that. No. But you got to stop the money from flowing. But is this because, is this just, hey, I'm taking advantage of a system? Or is this, hey, we know that you're doing this, but don't forget to vote for the right candidate? I'm just saying, I don't know. But we need to find out more. We really do. And we will. And there are a lot of people that are talking about it. I wonder if Nancy Pelosi's talking about this. I know what she's talking about because, I wanted to play this video before we go into break. And it's this. Nancy Pelosi was being interviewed by Jonathan Karl in her historic career. And she was talking about the historic moment where she decided to do something so horrible and despicable, like rip up the State of the Union address right there on live television, never done anything before. You'd assume at this point she might want to apologize. Nope.
I didn't intend to go to speech to tear it up, but I just, the first part of it, I tore a page because he was lying, and then the next page, and then the next page. I thought it was a manifesto of lies all throughout. So
it was a manifesto of lies all throughout, so I had to rip it up. But here's the best part.
I better just tear up the whole speech. Now, the speeches are on strong paper. They're on, so you have to do it a few times to get it.
So there's Jonathan Karl laughing about something so despicable with Nancy Pelosi, like, yeah, the paper's really good paper and thick paper, and you really had to try hard to rip it, didn't you? Yes, I did. It was very difficult for me to rip this paper. I bet it was really difficult to rip this paper. You should see this paper. It's practically unrippable, but I'm super strong. You're super strong. Like, really, it's just disgusting. Look at Jonathan Carl's face. I mean, you can't see it if you're driving. But if you look at his face, he's got this, I don't want to say stupid smile because we don't call people stupid. We call, well, smiles are stupid. Why you got that stupid smile on your face? All right, don't say that. That's mean too. Yeah, it was really hard to rip the paper. Yes, it was very difficult. I'm sorry. I was thinking that there may be a mea culpa, an apology. I probably shouldn't have done that. Nope. Yeah, all right. We put a bow on the show next on this Monday Luya to you coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. What's going on? Oh, we got a woke news story of the day.
This is Woke News Today with your host, Drew Steele.
Thanks, Biff. What do we have here? Oh, look at this. Okay. I wonder why this would be a woke news story of the day. Zoran Mamdani is a communist, a socialist, a Marxist, a Democrat, aren't they all? And he is going to be the next mayor of the city of New York. And he has just appointed a new FDNY commissioner. That would be the fire department of New York. And seems like your average everyday story of the average everyday thing that happens averagely and everydayly. That's weird, but anyway.
Lillian Bonsignor is a career first responder.
Well, that's nice.
In just 9 days, she'll be running the world's busiest fire department.
The world's busiest fire department. Not to be confused with the world's best cup of coffee. That's a Belf thing. It's a long story. It's
one of the most important appointments of the incoming administration.
One of the most important appointments of this new administration. Most important, it's huge. Some might say bigly. You don't mess around with this one. You gotta get it right. It's important.
And they deserve a leader who cares about their work because she did it herself, who understands every detail, and who will fight tirelessly to empower FDNY and make it the best firefighting force in the world.
She's going to work tirelessly to make it the best firefighting force, say that 10 times fast, in the world. That's right, triple F right here, to make it the best. The most important appointment that can be made by Zoran Mamdani in the new era for New York City. What is that new era? As the story goes on.
Lillian Bonsignor began her career as an EMT in 1991.
All right, so an EMT, 1991.
And was ultimately promoted to chief of the city's EMS division.
Oh, all right, chief of the EMS division.
Where she served for 3 years before retiring in 2022.
In 2022, I'm like, yeah, I'll retire right now. Okay.
Although she never served as a firefighter, she's confident.
Whoa, wait a second. Did I miss something here? Hold on a second. Did you say?
Before retiring in 2022.
Yeah.
Although she never served as a firefighter.
She's never served as a firefighter. The most important appointment you can possibly make. The chief, fire chief, FDNY, but never has been a firefighter. Why would you take someone on that seems so unqualified for the job?
She's confident that won't matter.
Oh, well, okay.
I know the job.
She's confident. She feels like it's not that big a deal.
I know what the firefighters need, and I can translate that to this administration who's willing to listen.
Okay, willing to listen? You guys willing to listen? I think I can make this work.
I know what EMS needs. I have been EMS for 30 plus years.
Bonsignor is a trailblazer for the LGBTQ community.
Oh, there's your answer. Okay, we didn't want the most qualified person to do the job. The most important appointment that we could possibly make. No. We wanted someone that was going to fill that spot for identity politics.
Who will serve as the FDNY's first openly gay commissioner.
Oh, and there you go, everybody. If you're like, why in the world would you do this? Would you hire somebody who's never been a firefighter to run the FDNY? Now you know why.
LGBTQ2 plus.
No, I still don't get it. I don't think I understand. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.